You get the email at 10:14. Bigger salary, bigger number, smaller sense of calm. For 5 minutes, you feel taller. Then your mind starts spending it for you. A nicer place, better schools, better weekends, better everything. And that is exactly when the trap opens. Your first big raise in your 30s is not just more money. It is a social signal. The second other people feel that signal, your raise stops being yours. If you want that raise to change your life, tell no one. The dangerous part is not the paycheck itself. It is the story your nervous system attaches to it. You think the raise means safety arrived. Your body hears permission to finally stop being careful. But income and safety are not the same thing. One is a flow, and one is resilience. Your first big raise creates an identity gap. You earn more overnight, but your judgment has to catch up. Warning sign number 1 is the urge to announce it. You want someone to witness that you are finally doing well. That urge feels innocent because it sounds like joy. Underneath, it is usually relief mixed with old hunger. You want proof that the long hours meant something. You want your past struggle officially upgraded in public. The problem is that people rarely hear your raise neutrally. They hear a new budget, a new category, a new role. Some will not ask for anything directly. They will simply start assuming you can absorb more. More dinners out, more travel expectations, more shared costs that somehow drift toward your wallet. That is how money leaks before you notice it, not through math first, but through new social gravity. Lifestyle inflation is only part of the trap. Identity inflation is the part most people never name. Identity inflation means you start managing impressions with money. You buy to match the version of you others can now imagine. Healthy spending reflects your actual values. Trap spending performs your new status back to the room. That difference matters more than people think. One builds a life you can hold, and one builds a costume. Warning sign number 2 is upgrading fixed costs too fast. Fixed costs are where raises go to disappear. A better apartment sounds reasonable at first. So does a newer car, a cleaner gym, a nicer monthly routine. None of those purchases feel reckless by themselves. They feel like finally acting your age and income. But fixed costs do not ask whether next year stays strong. They just show up again next month. That is why a raise can feel huge in April. By October, it is already spoken for. If your income jumps from $90,000 to $120,000, the monthly lift feels life-changing at first. After taxes, insurance, and retirement withholdings, that extra room is usually smaller than your fantasy version. It may feel like 2 lives apart on paper. In your checking account, it can feel like a modest breath. Then one higher car payment takes $700. One housing upgrade takes another $500 or $600. Add better furniture, better weekends, and better convenience. Suddenly the raise is gone before the year is. This is how high earners stay tense. Not because they are foolish, but because the baseline keeps moving. Warning sign number 3 is performative generosity. You start paying to protect the image of being the guy who can. You grab more tabs without thinking. You say yes to loans, gifts, and rescues you would once have questioned. Real generosity is chosen and bounded. Trap generosity is guilt wearing a nice watch. The second version feels noble in the moment. Later, it feels strangely resentful and hard to explain. That resentment matters because it teaches the wrong lesson. You start blaming money instead of the boundary you skipped. Warning sign number 4 is false security. A raise can make fragile finances look solid for a little while. Wealth is what stays when income pauses. A raise only helps if some of it starts staying. This is the advanced nuance most people miss. Your first big raise should lower fragility before it raises lifestyle. Fragility means needing every paycheck to land on time. It means one surprise expense can still reset your month. If that is still true after the raise, you did not gain safety. You only gained a more expensive version of pressure. That is why silence matters at the beginning. Privacy gives your money time to harden into structure. Structure means decisions that happen before emotion arrives. It means automatic moves your future self does not have to negotiate. The cleanest first move is building a 90-day quiet period. Let the raise exist privately before it becomes socially real. During that period, keep your visible life almost unchanged. Let your accounts change first, not your image. If you share a household, privacy and secrecy are different things. Shared money needs shared honesty and a real plan. But outside your household, delay the announcement. You are not hiding shame. You are protecting strategy. Use the first 3 months to assign the raise. Unassigned money becomes social money almost immediately. If the take-home increase is $1,500 a month, it needs jobs before the world gives it jobs. One version might send $700 toward retirement. Another $400 might thicken cash while the rest to tax debt or drift. The exact split matters less than the principle. Your raise should meet your future before it meets your habits. Start with the parts of life that buy breathing room. Cash reserves, debt reduction, and invested savings change how you think. They do not look impressive in conversation. That is exactly why they work so well. A bigger watch gets noticed faster than a fuller emergency fund. One changes the room, and one changes your sleep. The trap is preferring visible proof over invisible strength. Your nervous system wants applause when what you need is margin. Pause here for a second. What actually happened after your last raise or bonus? Did your peace grow with it? Or did your lifestyle quietly grow faster? Drop a comment with where you are right now. Your story might be exactly what another person watching needs to hear. Maybe you protected the money well. Maybe it vanished into upgrades you barely remember now. Either way, say it honestly in the comments. Naming the pattern is often where the pattern finally loosens. Now, warning sign number 5 is the celebration purchase. This one feels harmless because it arrives wearing the word deserve. You tell yourself it is a one-time reward, but one purchase often trains a whole new standard. A nicer home is not just higher rent or a mortgage. It is furniture, maintenance, taxes, repairs, and a different social script. A better car is not just the payment. It is insurance, upkeep, fuel, and the places you now think you belong. That is the hidden tail cost of identity spending. The sticker price is small compared with the lifestyle it recruits. Warning sign number 6 is peer acceleration. The raise makes you newly vulnerable to other people's timeline. Friends start mentioning neighborhoods, clubs, schools, and vacations that now sound almost reasonable. Almost reasonable is expensive language. Social comparison rarely says buy this exact thing. It says move faster because you are now the kind of person who should. That message hits hard in your 30s. You are old enough to compare and young enough to still feel late. If you started a little behind, the raise can awaken old shame. You may want to close the gap in public. That is not catch-up. It is catch-up theater, and it burns cash without healing the wound. Real catch-up looks boring from the outside. It looks like automated contributions and fewer dramatic purchases for 2 years. It looks like keeping your old apartment one lease longer. It looks like letting your balance sheet grow before your image does. That quiet season can feel almost anticlimactic. In reality, it is where adult wealth usually starts. Think about the 45-year-old who opens his retirement account and feels a private wave of panic. He is not stupid. He often remembers earlier raises with painful clarity, not because he earned too little, but because he institutionalized too little. Every raise that became lifestyle now feels heavy in hindsight. Every raise that became assets still speaks for him. This is why the first big raise in your 30s matters so much. It trains the pattern your 40s will inherit. An extra $1,000 a month directed well for 10 years can redraw your options. The same $1,000 spent casually can disappear without a trace. Stretch that habit across 20 years, and the difference gets harder to ignore. Time amplifies discipline more than income ego. Another nuance people miss is emotional rebound spending. After years of constriction, relief itself can become expensive. You do not buy because you are careless. You buy because your body is tired of feeling deprived. That deserves compassion, not shame. But compassion without structure becomes permission with better language. A healthy response honors the relief without surrendering the raise. You can celebrate once without converting celebration into identity. Pick a contained reward and end it there. Then let the rest go quiet and start working. Maybe that reward is one dinner, one weekend away, or one meaningful purchase you planned in advance. Then stop. The stop matters more than the treat. Anyone can spend extra money once. Very few can end the story cleanly. You may be thinking this sounds cold, maybe even a little paranoid or joyless. It is not joyless to protect a life change. It is mature to let reality form before opinions enter the room. You do not owe your raise to extended family narratives. You do not owe it to friends who liked the older, cheaper version of Access. You also do not owe yourself a visible transformation just to prove growth happened. Growth can stay private while it compounds. Silence is not deception unless someone is entitled to the information. Most people are not. A simple answer is enough when questions come. You can say, "Work is going well," and leave it there. The less you explain, the less you defend. The less you defend, the fewer expectations you accidentally fund. Once people recalibrate around your higher income, it is hard to undo, even if your bonus shrinks or your industry cools. That is another reason to delay the reveal. Income can rise faster than certainty, especially in your 30s. A raise can come with longer hours, higher expectations, or a role that may not fit forever. Spend like the season could change. One useful rule is keeping lifestyle one notch below identity. Let your life lag your income on purpose. That gap is not deprivation. That gap is where options live. Options mean you can leave a bad job slower people feel trapped inside. Options mean one mistake does not become a crisis. Options mean you can help someone later from strength, instead of rescuing everyone now from insecurity. That is real generosity. The hardest part is psychological. Telling people feels like claiming your arrival. But wealth is usually built by people who do not need immediate witnesses. They let the numbers speak later, if ever. The room may reward display in the short term. Your future rewards privacy much more reliably. So when the first big raise hits, do something almost boring. Strengthen cash, increase investing, clean up debt, and wait. Let 6 months pass before you decide what truly changed. Let a full year pass before your lifestyle starts believing it. If the raise is real, it will still be real next spring. You do not have to prove it this weekend. If this helped you think more clearly, hit like. That tells me to make more videos that go deeper than surface money advice. Subscribe and tap the bell if you want the quiet truths about money most people only learn after expensive mistakes. That is what this channel is for. And tell me in the comments which part landed hardest for you. Was it the social pressure, the identity trap, or the false security? I appreciate you being here and doing this kind of inner work with your money. Most people would rather stay distracted than honest. On screen next is the video about the invisible line where feeling rich and actually being safe stop meaning the same thing. That one connects directly to this. Watch that next because protecting a raise is only step one. The deeper move is learning which numbers actually calm your life.